welcome back. My name is Dawn and this is Living a Word-Filled Life, and I'm still sharing scriptures with you that altered the course of my life. And today I want to talk to you about favor, and the scripture I'm going to share with you is one that my husband and I decree over our lives daily. In fact, it's the screensaver on my phone, and it's from Psalm chapter 5 verse 12. And I'll share the NIV version with you. And it says, "For surely, O Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield." So years ago when I saw this scripture, it said, you bless the righteous. Well, I thought you had to be good and perfect and to be righteous, like you couldn't be righteous. So I thought, well, this doesn't apply to me. Well, that's partially true that you aren't righteous in your own right. But once you make Jesus Lord of your life, then you partake in his righteousness. So you're not righteous because of what you do or what you can do. You're righteous because of Jesus being righteous. So once you're saved, once you make Jesus Lord of your life, then you become righteous through him. So then when I started to figure that out, I'm like, oh, well then I am righteous through Christ. So this does apply to me. So I'm going to read it one more time. It says, "For surely, O Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield." And favor is not fair. It's not. But it's available to everyone who will partake in it. So the Bible is so full of so many things, but you have to know what's in there and you have to understand what it means. And that's why the same verse, the verse didn't change, but the way that I perceived it changed, and then it changed my life forever. So we are constantly declaring God's favor. I'll give you some examples of the kind of favor we've had in our lives after we figured this verse out. And one of the main ones, I guess, I mean, we experience favor every week, sometimes on a daily basis. But the first big one, actually there's a lot of big ones, but was that we received a house through a Military Warrior Support Foundation in Florida, and when we lived in Port Charlotte. So we were given a mortgage-free home. Something else is we put our house on the market in California when we moved here recently. We prayed about moving and we just made a quick decision based on the word we heard from God. And so we put our house on the market. And our house sold in less than 24 hours. And I know there's a lot of people who have houses for sale and that's taking a while to sell. But if you get God involved, he's the best realtor ever. Something else, we were looking to sell a car when we moved here, but with all the stuff going on in the world right now, we couldn't go to a dealership to sell our car. We couldn't do a private transaction because the DMV in California was closed. So we didn't know what to do. So God told us about, he said, go to CarMax. So like, oh, we hadn't thought about that. So within getting to CarMax, and they looked at the car we had to sell, within 30 minutes, we had a check in our hand from CarMax for our car, and it was more than we thought we were going to get for it. Now that is the favor of God. Something else that happened recently, and you can see these are just recent ones. I could go on for days and share all these favor stories with you. But one recently was when we were moving. We had a delay because of all the junk going on. I'm not even going to say the name of it because it's junk. All the junk going on, and we were having to stay in a hotel for 30 days because the closing of our house in California was held up, and so we had to wait in a hotel. Well, it was costing us the price of the hotel every day. It was costing us the U-Haul to keep it longer than we had planned to every day. We were having to eat. And so the buyer of our house, their lender sent us $2,000 to cover our expenses. So it covered half of our expenses, and we had already budgeted for the other half of the expenses. So she sent us $2,000, and it wasn't from the company. It was from this lady personally. She sent me Venmo money. So that is the favor of God. That is unheard of. God does things that are unheard of, and he favors his children. But you have to know that. You have to know, first of all, that you're righteous through Jesus, and you have to know that favor can be yours, but you have to believe it. You have to believe it in your heart, and you have to receive it. And that's the hardest thing for a lot of people. It's like, oh yeah, I see that, but that doesn't apply to me. Yes, it does apply to you if you let it apply to you. And you will see what favor can do for you. Life is a whole lot better with God's favor in it, I promise you. So you be blessed. I'll see you next week, and I'll share another scripture with you. Have a great week. Bye-bye.